Hello, myself Sunil R Nair, and here basically we are discussing the topic that is the currency dependency. So currency basically are dependent on currencies basically, and lots of example basically we have also taken. For example, dollar is basically dependent on dollar dependencies basically are there, and each and everything basically connects with the investment only basically. So how many money basically is dollar USA dollar basically have invested, and how basically the USA dollar basically has been converted to many Singaporean dollars. Like this many dollars basically are there under the USA dollar also. So main basically is USA dollar. Then basically the sub dollars basically connects here basically. So like this basically the things basically are connected. Then basically one of the person told that basically do we have the diagram of this here basically. Then he told that basically the currencies basically currencies energy basically are there, right? So the currency energy, according to the currency energy, the currency diagram is also basically created. So from that basically you can easily able to find out the entire diagram basically, that how the each and everything's basically are dependent. For example, one person told that basically Congress, BJP, each and every party basically they have created around 2 lakh incidents in this world, in the India basically. In India basically they have created 2 lakh incidents, and from the 2 lakh incidents basically the created means it basically is few incidents basically are created incentive created basically forcefully, and the few incidents basically are in created like that basically, and few incidents basically are created automatically basically on the base of the energy basically. So like this basically he told that it's around more than 2 lakh or 3 lakh basically incidents basically as created by the government basically, and few incidents basically are forcefully created basically. Forcefully basically you can give some other name also basically, like created by certain plans, created by certain groups, that also basically you can give the name basically. By default basically created, like that also basically you can basically give the name basically. That is basically different thing basically. Here basically we are discussing that how basically the creation basically has happened. So in this basically we basically got that India basically has created around 3 lakh incidents basically in the India basically, and that is connecting to the, I think assume that basically around 35 country basically has given the investment in India. So they have invested in India. So according to the investment basically they have done they have created the incident, and few incidents basically automatically happened on the base of the energy basically. So that energy basically things basically incidents are also there, and the automatic incidents basically created are also there, and the by default and the automatically forcefully created incidents basically are also there. So like this he told that basically for USA basically dollar basically how many incidents basically has created. And then he told that basically incidents means we can say that with the if it's international, then basically it's connected with the by default connected with the by default it's connected with the by default it's connected with the law only basically. So sections basically comes into the picture, like this basically they have created. So like this the incidents basically has created. So for USA, assume that there are around 80,000 incidents basically created, or basically take as 90,000 basically. Like this incidents basically has created. So for each and every country basically who basically has done the investment basically, that we have created. So USA basically dependency country basically, USA basically also have invested in the world basically. There basically things basically also basically effective to India country, that part also basically we have taken. That's why basically the 90,000 incident basically has created. So just see basically up to what level the $1 and the India currency is basically connecting. Each and every incidence basically is connected to the dollar and India currency basically. So whenever you feel that basically this many currencies basically has been increased and decreased basically, if you basically go to detail of the currencies increase decrease, then basically we'll see basically the set of things basically connected here basically. That are the incidents basically which are basically connecting, and few people says that few incidents basically affect immediately basically on that day only basically. means USA market basically opens on Indian night time basically, that is after 7 8:30, 7 or 8 o'clock. That time only basically it gets effect. For example, some incidents happen in India, that basically affects immediately on night of the Indian time basically on night, and morning time of the USA basically. Immediately when the share bazaar gets open of the USA basically, immediately the currencies department basically gets effect basically. So up to that level incidents basically are also there basically. So they basically can't wait for that incidents basically. They basically can't wait for the data basically to come. So that's why basically the data basically come immediately of the that type of basically department are also basically created, that you can't wait for this particular data. So data basically comes periodically basically, that whatever periodically that incidents basically are mapped basically according to the incidence effect basically going to connect to both country basically. So that basically are decided, the priorities, each and everything basically are done, and this all basically connects to the software industry directly basically. It's not like that basically the software industry is not connecting. The text box basically equal to 1,000 cities are connecting, because if incidence has happened basically, so it might possible that in the 1,000 city basically the incidents might have effect. So due to that it might possible that the software industry also basically might get affected due to that currency basically increase and decrease. So it might possible basically. So there are basically few people says that basically the everything basically has done is basically doing systematically. Systematic means you can say the books basically are created. For example, if you want to decrease this many currency basically of the dollar, or basically increase this many currency of the dollar, then basically you have to do this all incidents basically in India country and in the USA country. So due to this basically the your currency basically will get effect. So here one person told that basically incidents can be in any place basically. Is it connected to the places basically? Then he told that basically might possible, because the investment basically might have done in the places na basically. So he told that basically exactly. So he told that basically if investment is connecting to the places and the energy basically are connected to the place, and the place basically says that basically this place basically are used for the potato creation, so that potato creation also basically will get effect. So whenever the increase decrease of the dollar basically, or in or the basically the currency decrease increase basically happens, that time basically the potato creation also basically going to effect. That is the potato energy basically, that time basically it is getting generated. So whatever energy basically are getting generated of the human needs basically, that are directly affecting to the currencies basically. So if we say that basically the currency increase decrease basically are getting effect on the base of the certain incidents basically, then basically you can say that the potato energy basically are directly connecting to the incidents, and the connecting to the currencies basically. So currencies basically are connected to up to that level basically, that any of the incidents basically in this world basically the government has created, that are the BJP government, Congress government, each and every government basically has created certain level of incidents, because the investment basically has happened of the USA basically. So USA investment basically here basically we are talking in real basically there are more than 3 lakh incidents basically which has created. Few incidents basically has created forcefully, and few incidents automatically happened, and few incidents basically which happened on the base of the certain energy basically. So like this basically according to the incidents basically the currencies increase decrease happens. So this is also basically one of the part of the currencies increase decrease, how the currencies basically are depend, and each and every incident basically directly depends upon the currency basically. Direct effect is basically there basically, that also you can say basically. So this is also basically a little bit about the currencies basically, and in later on video basically we are going to see a little bit more about the currency incidents. And there are lots of thousands of books basically are created for the currencies increase decrease, which happens on the base of the certain level of incidents in the USA and the connected USA and connected India country.